first, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Welcome back to Fox 12 Now, live streaming here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. One thing that people do love in this area are all of the great options for public parks. And there's also a lot of people with dogs here as well. I am one of those people. And bringing dogs to the parks is a great advantage because of those dog-specific parks that are out there, at least around the Portland area. We wanted to find out a little bit more about this and maybe a refresher on what some of those regulations are that people can and should be following, and more importantly, why those regulations are there. So this is a segment about that. We actually spoke to Portland Park Rangers supervisor, and she's going to be joining us here to discuss that. This is Kelly. So many people around here love their dogs. I'm a dog owner myself. I go to the parks, but it does feel like sometimes understanding the rules and regulations, maybe some people haven't paid attention to that or don't know what those are. And I think it's important to go through that. And so thanks for being here for that conversation. But before we get into that, would you mind just telling us a little bit about yourself and your role there with the parks?
Of course. So my name is Kelley Deas. I use she, her pronouns. I'm one of the Park Ranger supervisors. So I've been with parks for about 8 years now. I started as a seasonal ranger and worked my way up as a supervisor. So I've done a lot of good work here and I really love being with parks.
So yeah, started as a seasonal and then decided this is my career. This is where I want to go.
Yes, exactly. I love the outdoor spaces and nature, and this has just been a dream job.
Oh, I mean, and we have so many amazing parks and places to go to, in such varied places. That's one of the great things about this area and about Portland Parks and Rec. When it comes to the dog side of things, could you walk us through maybe just a basic explainer of, I know that there are dog only parks, but even if somebody maybe is new to the area and not understanding what some of the offerings are.
Of course. So we have over 270 beautiful parks, natural areas, and community centers. And within our parks, we have 35 dog off-leash areas that could be fenced or unfenced. And there's information on the amenities offered at all of these parks offered online as well. So these give people options to decide if they'd rather use a fence space or go to a more open space that is marked by bollards, so you can tell where that off-leash area starts and ends.
So yeah, they can go to the site and they can look up those. And let's talk about bringing your dogs to the park. What are some basic guidelines that people should follow if they're going either fenced or not fenced?
Of course. So making sure that you're bringing when you're bringing your dogs to the dog park, bringing not too many, so you're able to control the animals that you're bringing. Aggressive dogs, we ask that those types of animals don't come to the park just because it can cause some safety hazards for other visitors. Making sure that you plan ahead and prepare. So bringing items such as dog poop bags, making sure that even if you're coming to enjoy one of our off-leash areas, that you're also bringing a leash, because you never know what you might run into in these spaces. And it's always important to be prepared if you do need to leave. And then bringing things like water, making sure that you're aware of the boundaries of the off-leash area, and any other rules, they're going to be posted right in front of that area as well.
And what are some of the important things for people to know, because, well, actually, let's talk about the leash side of things. So the off-leash areas are specifically marked.
They are. They're either going to be marked with bollards that are going to be placed just around the off-leash area, or they're going to be marked with a fence that could be partial, or it could surround the off-leash area.
And what are some of the important reasons why dogs should be leashed outside of the off-leash area?
Of course. So I moved back into our leave no trace principles as well with this, but being considerate of others, we try to make sure that everyone has equal access to parks. And we may have visitors that are fearful of dogs. We may have dogs that are on leash and may be reactive, or cats or other animals that you bring into the park. So it's really important that these shared spaces are accessible to visitors that may have different needs as well. So having a leashed pet is important, so you can walk them around the park, and someone with, again, a reactive pet could also do so. And even if your dog is friendly, again, not everyone may be open to contact with your pet. And we also have some sensitive wildlife and habitats in parks that if your dog runs through, even the friendliest dog can be seen as a predator to some birds and other species.
So yes, there's definitely some good reasons there on that. And what are some of the most common things that maybe that you see from people visiting the parks that maybe people are not aware of or that they should be aware of and they aren't?
Some common things I see, again, as you mentioned, just having pets off leash. People really love their pets, and that totally makes sense. I love saying hi to people's dogs and cats when I'm in the park. It's always fun to see. But I'll frequently see, yeah, some leash compliance issues. I'll see people going into some natural areas where dogs are actually not permitted to be in. And again, it's because wildlife will see your pet as a predator, even if they are the most friendly animal. Otherwise, some common issues that I also see are going to be, issues with maybe scooping poop as well. So we really focus on educating on pack it, if you take it in, pack it out as well.
And you mentioned compliance, with those regulations and rules. What are, I guess, for lack of a better word, what are some of the consequences for not following those?
Of course. So oftentimes when we talk with dog owners or any pet owner in the park, we're able to gain we work with them to follow those park rules, and they will go ahead and leash their dog or pick up poop. So if we run into individuals that don't follow these rules, we can issue things like ejections, exclusions, or citations. But most often, we're able to work with the visitor to gain that compliance or following those rules.
Gotcha. Communication ends up helping
Yeah.
out a lot then. Yeah.
Yeah. Rangers are trained in having de-escalation skills, verbal judo, and then we also really rely on leave no trace to educate. And the importance with that is, of course, as a group, we have authority of an agency, but using authority of the resource, which is going to be our waterways, our pathways, our trees, really talking to people about how these can impact those spaces really helps people understand why these rules are in place.
Awesome. Well, anything else that you think is important that we didn't cover that people should know?
I think it's really important, again, to know before you go, look up where these spaces are to let your dog run off leash. Make sure you bring appropriate stuff for your pet, like leashes, water, so you and your furry friend can have a fun time in Portland parks this summer.
And you mentioned people can go online. So just to know, what those regulations are, I'm assuming they're probably posted in the parks as well.
Yeah, so if you go to portland.gov and you search dog off leash areas, you will be able to find the 35 areas that are available. And then on top of that, if you're ever curious about more of the specifics with the code for animals, that's also available online.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate it and all the work that you all do there because, at the end of the day, we have some really amazing parks and it's great to have, everybody taking care of them like this. So thanks so much.
Of course, it's my pleasure and it's definitely a dream job. So I appreciate your time.
Okay. Thank you to Kelly, the Portland Parks, for that segment, just to learn more about, what we have on offer here in the city and just what the proper way is to just enjoy those.